Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this broadcast of Cape Cod League Baseball, live from Doran Park alongside Lincoln Revill and Taylor Farmer. I'm Austin DeCouta. Lincoln, Cape Cod League Baseball is back, starting off with this matchup between the Bourne Braves and the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. Excited to be on the call with you today.
Yeah, same here, Austin. I'm just pumped to be out here. So right now, it's been almost 700 days since the last Cape Cod baseball game, and I'm just stoked to be able to come out and just get on this season with you.
It should be an exciting match between two dominant teams here down the Cape. Lincoln, what is the Harbor Hawk lineup looking like for today?
Yeah, so for the Harbor Hawks, we got Mariano Ricciardi starting things off, followed by Kyle Ball. Marcos Pujols batting in the 3-hole, playing first base. Mason Greer at third, and he'll be batting fourth. Mitchell Hardigan batting fifth, followed by Zane Harris, the designated hitter. Caleb Pendleton in the 7-hole, he'll be playing catcher, followed by Dominic Johnson, the center fielder. And Caden Rose will be bringing up the rear in the 9-hole, and he'll be playing in right field.
Well, an exciting Harbor Hawks lineup today filled with talent. And for the home team, the Bourne Braves, they'll lead off with Joe Lampe, the second baseman. Batting second is Kyler Fedko, the third baseman, the right fielder rather. Reggie Crawford batting third. He'll be playing first base. Batting cleanup is Zachary Agnes. He is playing third base today. Batting fifth today at the designated hitter spot is Dalton Rushing. Batting sixth is Colby Thomas. He'll be found in left field. Batting seventh is Dalton Winner. He'll be found at second base today. Peter Burns in the lineup today at the 8-hole. He'll be doing the catching job today. And Christian Knapchek will be playing shortstop and batting ninth. For Gordon Graceffo, who gets the start today for the Bourne Braves, a pretty good pitching matchup ahead between Gordon Graceffo and Seth Halverson today on the mound for the Harbor Hawks. Lincoln, should be an exciting pitching matchup.
Yeah, it should. Graceffo coming in with a 1.54 ERA and 82 innings pitched. In those 82 innings, he had 86 strikeouts on just 13 walks. And then Seth Halverson coming in for the Harbor Hawks, coming off of a 2.25 ERA, 7-7 record. And out of 72 innings pitched, he has a 57-70 walk-to-strikeout ratio. So I'm excited for this pitching matchup. It should be a good way to start the season.
Well, it should be an exciting pitching matchup between two stud pitchers, but there's also lots of talent in this Harbor Hawk lineup today. Our sideline reporter, Taylor Farmer, has more information on our leadoff hitter for Hyannis today. Taylor?
Excited to be with you guys here today and watching some baseball. Mariano Ricciardi is leadoff hitter today, as you mentioned, Lincoln. I caught up with him prior to the game. He told me it's a dream come true to play in this league. It's the best league in the country. So excited to see how he'll lead us off today for the Harbor Hawks.
Should be a great matchup, and we're just moments away here from Doran Park. We'll be back in just a moment with Hyannis Harbor Hawk baseball. Moments away from first pitch here at Dorn Park. Once again, Austin DeCouta with Lincoln Revill. Taylor Farmer is on the sidelines today. Lincoln, we talked about that pitching matchup a little bit, and the starter that's on the hill today for Bourne, Gordon Graceffo, leads that Villanova squad. He is just a dominant pitcher. You mentioned the strikeouts. On the Hyannis side of things, what did they have to do to try to get to Graceffo during this game?
Yeah, really, you see some speed from Graceffo coming up. Of course, you mentioned he's from Vanderbilt, so you'll see that speed a lot. And you really just got to be able to catch up to that fastball and really just watch for that off speed and really just bat to the ball is of utmost importance, especially this early in the game. So if you put the bat to the ball, get some hits going, sooner or later you'll be able to score runs, and that's the key to winning today's game.
Absolutely. Bat to the ball, and this Harbor Hawk lineup is one that is stingy. They're a group of guys who have something to prove after a 2019 season where Hyannis only had 9 wins on the year. Now, there's not a lot of guys on that 2019 roster that are still here, but those who are left, as in Adam Hackenberg and there's a couple others here in Hyannis that will be joining the team. But I know that around the league you hear a lot about how Hyannis had a rough 2019, so I know they're trying to make up for that and have a positive start to the 2021 season. Yeah,
they are, and the Harbor Hawks have had a couple of seasons that are similar to the 2019 season where they only get a few wins, and so really you really want to start this season off on the right note, get a win to start things off here, especially against a division rival in the Braves, and really just get things started off on the right note.
Well, it's definitely important to start, on the right note, as you said, Lincoln. And if you're a team, as we mentioned, that only had the 9 wins, if you start off a season, after the pandemic last season with no 2020 season, if you start off the first game in 680-plus days with a loss, it can be a little bit disappointing,
Yeah, it can. And I see this is really just a clean slate. After that 2019 season, you had a lot of time to rest and get ready for this upcoming season. And really, this is just a new day, honestly.
And we'll get started in just a moment with Mariano Ricciardi digging in, batting from the left side today, wearing number 16 for Hyannis. And the first pitch of the 2021 season is high and outside for a ball. Ricciardi gets the start at second base today for Hyannis as they're sporting the away blues and the white pinstripe pants. Bourne in the home white on whites. The 1-0. Swing and a miss just behind the fastball. The count evens up at 1-1.
Yeah, and Ricciardi kind of lagging that bat a little bit, that long swing, bringing his arms out. He needs to shorten that swing and be sure to get the knob to the ball.
The 1-1 here from Graceffo. Misses high again. 2-1, seeing a lot of heat early here from Graceffo. Couple fastballs. See where he goes now on 2-1. Long pause here as he works in the glove. The 2-1. Inside corner, called strike. That evens the count at 2-2. Seems to be all fast stuff early on here, Lincoln, from Graceffo.
It is, and that was just a beautiful pitch, painting that inside corner. Really tough to see.
2-2 here. He goes off speed, do you think?
I think so, yeah.
Well, here's the pitch, and he goes up top again with the high cheese and fouled back there by Ricciardi, who stays alive. Seems to be all power early. Going to utilize that fastball that led him to success this collegiate season.
After that pitch, do you think he has an off speed?
I guess we'll find out. The 2-2 once more. Got him reaching.
There it is.
And there's the off-speed pitch to get Ricciardi swinging, and it's a quick out number 1 for Bourne. We talked about the strikeouts that Graceffo had in college, and that success has transferred so far in the first batter of the game there. And we'll see if Kyle Ball can put the bat in play as he digs in for Hyannis.
Yeah, and that pitch started on the outside, and it just moved even more outside as that one just Ricciardi just ended up reaching for it. He couldn't connect on it. Just a tiebreaker that he couldn't get.
Kyle Ball stands in here from the right-handed batter's box, sporting number 26 this season. Getting the start at shortstop today for Hyannis. Graceffo with the 1-0. That's outside for a ball, 2-0. He started the first 2 hitters with the ball so far. Battled back against Ricciardi to get the punch out. Last summer, Kyle Ball spent time in the Florida Collegiate League with the Deland Suns. He played in 11 games for them. Went 6 for 33 at the dish. Drove in 3 runs and stole 4 bases, so can do a little bit of everything at the middle infield spot. He's ahead in the count early, 3-0 on Graceffo. Graceffo deals the pitch. Belt high for a called strike to bring the count to 3-1.
And you mentioned that Ball played in the Florida Collegiate League. During his time in the Florida Collegiate League, he had ended with 6 hits and 33 at-bats, and he also had 3 RBIs. And during that time, he also added 4 stolen bases.
And he fouls that pitch off to bring the count to full at 3-2. Marcos Pujols on deck for the Harbor Hawks. The full count. Swinging a sharp grounder to third down the line. Tough play here. The throw on the run is
wow.
In time. Heck of a play over there at third base to get out number 2. Terrific glove to start things off there. And that's some of the defense you need behind you. If you're not going to get all strikeouts, Graceffo letting them put the ball in play, and Zachary Agnes behind him with a terrific play.
Yeah, great play by Agnes, just being up. He was near the line on that one, right on the line, and he made that throw on the run. Just a beautiful play, and then a beautiful dig over at first base from Crawford. That was Reggie Crawford making the dig over at first base.
The UConn first baseman. Nice stretch, nice dig. I mean, all around terrific defensive play. And now Marcos Pujols steps in, the left-handed hitter, and takes a big cut at a fastball, and it's held on to by Burns after tip, so it's 0-1. Pujols wearing number 31, orange shin guard on the right ankle. Wide stance here on the left-handed hitter's batting box. The 0-1 from Graceffo, swinging fouled straight back off the netting to where the scouts sit here at Doran Park behind home plate.
Very good turnout from fans and scouts alike tonight, really. That little area for the scouts just absolutely packed.
A beautiful afternoon for baseball as well. First Cape League games we mentioned in over 680 days, and the fans have come to see it. The 0-2. High and outside for a ball, 1-2 the count. Couldn't get him to chase the high fastball. Pujols is a pro hitter, batted .346 in 2021 at the collegiate level with 12 home runs, a lot of power, and he can clearly hit for average as well. The 1-2, outside for a ball. Tried to go off speed, but couldn't get Pujols to chase. The count evens up at 2-2. Pujols spent 3 years on the varsity level at high school. From the time he was a sophomore, junior, and senior, he played and started all 3 years. That success is translated to the collegiate level, the 2-2. Cut on and miss, and it's a 1-2-3. Top of the first inning. It couldn't be a better start for Bourne. They'll look to bring that success to the plate. We'll be back in just a moment from Doran Park. Welcome back to this broadcast of Harbor Hawks baseball from Dorn Park. Austin DeCouta with Lincoln Revill. Taylor Farmer on the sideline today. Bottom of the first inning. Still no score here as Joe Lampe gets ready to lead it off for the Braves. A 1-2-3 first inning as Hyannis went down, a pair of punch-outs and a ground-out. Terrific pitching action there by Gordon Graceffo. Seth Halverson on the hill for the Harbor Hawks, and he'll look to answer. And his first pitch of the night. High and outside for a ball. We've seen a lot of fastballs early on. Lincoln, we'll see if that trend continues throughout the game.
Yeah, so far only a couple of breaking balls, and it's something that honestly I didn't expect to see out of this first game. I figured they'd be going strong on the breaking.
That one's a called strike. Count evens up at 1-1 to Lampe, the center fielder for the Bourne Braves. Batting from the left side here against Halverson. The 1-1 grounded down the line to third, and it'll be just foul over the bag, and foul by maybe less than a foot. Bring the count to 1-2.
Yeah, that was just a couple of inches, and the umpire had to jump every which way to try to get out of that one. He ended up getting out of the way. But, yeah, that was just a couple inches from the line.
Late on the fastball there. We'll see if he goes back to the fastball, or you think he brings in the off-speed here in the first at-bat?
From what I've seen, I'd say fastball. I'm going to go on outside and high and away.
Well, here's the 1-2 from Halverson. Swing and a miss, and drop third strike tags Lampe for out number 1.
And that's something you don't want to see. That was Pendleton trying to throw it around, and that ball just got away from Mason Greer and ended up rolling out into left field. And that's just something that you hate to see at every level.
You like to see the strikeout, not like to see the error on the throw around, but luckily we don't have to score that down. This brings up Kyler Fedko, the right fielder, batting in the 2-hole today for the Braves. Bats from the right side. Pitch from Halverson in the dirt for a ball, 1-0. Halverson just announced on Twitter 2 days ago that he's transferring from Missouri to Tennessee. He spent 3 seasons with Missouri, was very grateful for the past 3 years, but he said he's blessed to be able to commit to continue his baseball career at Tennessee. He'll be spending his summer here in Hyannis before heading to his new collegiate team during the year. It says 2-0 to Fedko. The pitch. Fedko thought about it, but he didn't go around. Brings a count to 3-0. Back-to-back Yukon products up for the Braves as Fedko and Crawford is on deck. Does he have the green light here on 3-0, Lincoln?
No, you can't go green light on 3-0.
And he does, in fact, take and brings the count to 3-1. I think too early in the game to be gripping and ripping on 3-0 there.
Yeah, and even with the 3-0 count, in high school you might be able to get away with it a couple of times. But I know that, especially at the college level, most coaches, an overwhelming majority of most coaches, probably will not give the green light.
And that one is roped down the right field line and heading towards the corner and just foul by a matter of feet. Just late on the fastball there, but if you straighten that out, we were looking at extra bases.
I think that might have had a chance of hopping off the wall. Could have been very big trouble for Rose.
And 300 down the right field line to the corner, 360 to right center, 395 to dead center here at Dorn Park, and 330 down the left field line.
Yeah, that right field fence very short.
And that one is laced into the left center field gap for extra bases. It's going to be cut off in left field. A wide turn at first. Helmet comes off of Fedko, but it'll be held to just a single. Nice job getting the ball out there in left field. And it is a one-out single.
Number 21, Reggie Crawford.
Off the bat, Lincoln, that one looked like it had extra bases written all over it, lasered into the gap.
Yeah, it did. Just a good job by Fedko taking that fastball, on that inside fastball, and just turning on it, sending that into the left center gap. And that was a great job by Hardigan, just being able to rope that one in and get it into second in time. Not in big trouble right now with just a runner on first, so still very much in control.
First time a pitcher goes from the stretch here in the game happens in the bottom of the first. Reggie Crawford up, and a nice block there by Pendleton, but he's going to go anyway. Throw down to second is offline. And the runner advances there on the wild pitch. So a runner in scoring position now for the Braves with still just one out. Reggie Crawford from UConn up at the dish now. In 2021, he hit .295 for the Huskies, 13 home runs and 62 RBI in 51 games played. An RBI machine, and he has a runner in scoring position early here. Those are not the numbers you want to see if you're the Harbor Hawks for a guy coming up early on with a runner in scoring position.
No, definitely not. This UConn combo just very good on average. Fedko over at second with a .396 average, and Crawford with a .294 average. Just two dominant batters for the Braves.
And Crawford's ahead in the count, 2-0. Halverson started off with that punch out to lead it off here, followed up by a single and a wild pitch getting Fedko to second base. He takes a secondary lead, big lead at second. Long kick there and a ground ball to short. That's going to send Fedko back to second. Throw to first is in time for out number 2.
And ball going back to the fundamentals on that one. He got down, got on one knee, made sure to stop that ball and get it up in time. A good throw over to first for that second out. And the Harbor Hawks back in control of this inning, really.
And just like that, there's 2 away for a second there, Lincoln. Crawford heading the count 2-0, guy on second, 1 out. You're looking at maybe a run coming across with one swing of the bat, but just like that, there's 2 away. Now, runner still in scoring position for Hyannis.
Yeah, but honestly, if I'm Halverson, that was really just a deep breath moment there. You had you went from a runner on second and a 2-0 count to really 2 away and a runner on second, so you just have to get that third out and you can head back to the dugout.
Important to settle in here early. Bottom of the first inning from Dorn Park, no score. Nice curveball, swing and a miss there. Zachary Agnos couldn't catch up to it. Terrific break on that curveball there by Halverson, and that brings the count to 0-2. 70 strikeouts last season at Missouri for Halverson. He's already got 1 in this game. Big lead for Fedko at second. Tries to go to the curveball again, but it's too far outside and taken for a ball. The count moves to 1-2. Long pause as he gets the sign from Pendleton behind the plate. Look at second, the kick and the throw. Misses outside and up. Count evens up at 2-2. We've seen 2 curveballs this at bat, Lincoln, 2 fastballs. See if Halverson goes back to that curveball. I mean, when he got it on that 0-1 pitch, it was a filthy curveball.
It was. I'm going to call, though, I'm going to go with a fastball outside.
See where he goes here. And time is called by Agnos, Zachary Agnos. He had that terrific play at third base in the top of the first inning, saving an infield single.
And you know that impressed the scouts that are here right now as they all lift up their speed guns for Halverson.
Absolutely. We'll see what Halverson clocks in here on the 2-2. Tries to go with the off speed, but skipped it in front of home to bring the count at full at 3-2.
You know, Austin, one thing I've learned over the years is that one thing that I shouldn't do is predict pitches because I am not good at it. Not good at it.
Well, it seems like, I mean, if it makes sense that he's going to go curveball, even if we predict it, it seems like he'll just go fastball just to.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just what happens.
Yeah. Very rarely am I ever correct on those kind of calls.
That's just how it happens. I mean, could be psychic. The 3-2 hit on the ground to third. Greer's got it. Going to his left. Throw to first is in time. Nice play by Mason Greer to end the inning. The Braves strand a man. We go to the top of the second. Still tied at 0 from Dorn Park. Back here for the top of the second inning from Doran Park. Austin DeCouta and Lincoln Revill here for you. The rest of this broadcast for Harbor Hawks baseball. No score here in the top of the second. Harbor Hawks went down in order in the top of the first. The Bourne Braves stranded a runner on second in the bottom of the first. Now Mason Greer leads it off for Hyannis. Getting the start at third base today for the Harbor Hawks. And he had a nice play to end the bottom of the first inning. Took one ball outside to start the at-bat. Greer was actually drafted by the Arizona Diamondbacks in the 37th round of the 2019 draft. On a lot of scouts' radars that are here, and that pitch is popped straight back, drifting off into foul territory where the fans are sitting, and it lands safely without hitting anybody. Count evens up at 1-1.
And Greer at McLennan Community College out of Waco, Texas, just about 40 minutes from where I live, actually.
Oh, really?
And he had just a dominant season this past season for MCC, batting .326, 17 home runs, and a .385 on-base percentage.
That's just incredible. Lots of power, and oftentimes you see, and especially in this day and age in the MLB, guys with the power aren't really getting on base as much. You're seeing a lot of guys hitting the low 200s but hit 40 home runs. But for Greer getting on base at a .385 clip and still hitting 17 home runs, that's very impressive.
Yeah, it is. Just a good all-around athlete, and you saw, especially in the field, and making great plays like that, just good all-around player for the Harbor Hawks.
The 1-2 to Greer. Swinging a grounder into the hole between first and second. Fielded there from short right field, but it's going to be an infield single. As Graceffo couldn't get over to first in time to cover, and it was in between Crawford and Wimmer. So a base hit there for Greer.
Now batting,
and that was just in exactly the right spot. That was just out of reach of Crawford, and then Wimmer ended up getting to it, but that was just that. You saw Gordon Graceffo just forgot to get over to first base. Could have had a play there, but he just didn't get over.
Right. Early season, some of that stuff might be forgotten.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
A lot of guys, not a lot of practice time down here in the Cape yet. Some of the guys still getting in from their collegiate seasons just ending.
Yeah, and the Harbor Hawks actually just started practicing Wednesday, I think it was. I think Wednesday was their very first practice.
So we've only had, 3 or 4 practices, And not all the guys have been at all the practices either. A lot of guys getting in on different days.
Mm-hmm.
Mitchell Hardigan here, batting from the left side for Hyannis as he checks his swing, but he did go. They'll check with the second base umpire, and he confirms the call as it brings the count to 1-1. Hardigan getting the start today in left field for Hyannis. Hardigan from Jupiter, Florida. Attended Florida Atlantic, where he ranked third on the team with a .318 batting average. Ranked fifth in the conference and top 30 nationally with 19 doubles. Great gap-to-gap hitter. He's behind in the count 1-2 to Graceffo. Runner takes his lead from first. That's Greer. The swinging is popped up straight back and out into foul territory. Mile-high pop-up and back towards Upper Cape Tech, the school right behind Doran Park. A little bit of wind blowing from right field to left as the flag moves and now moves straight back to center. A lot of left-handed hitters in the lineup today for Hyannis, Lincoln. I think they're looking to take advantage of that short porch and right where it's 300 dead to the pole.
Oh, yeah, and I can't blame them. 300, that's just asking for home runs from the left side. And this many left-handed hitters, especially, that's something that you really don't see a whole lot of nowadays.
Yeah. And you have Pujols, Greer, Hardigan, those three. And I know with Pujols and Greer's power that we just talked about, those two guys combined 30 home runs in their college seasons.
And Zane Harris on deck right now, also a left-hander.
You got to think at some point, Bourne, once Graceffo is out of this game, they're going with a left-handed pitcher. That one skied out to medium deep left field, back towards the warning track, and a few steps in front of the wall. The catch is made by Thomas for out number 1.
That was a monster fly there from Hardigan. Just a great job there from Thomas being able to track that one down. Just stay with it and back up.
Not an easy fly ball to track, the height it had, and not only that, but the sun is right behind home plate right now, so it's got to be in the outfielder's eyes.
Yeah, definitely. I think the only one that won't have problems is Fedco out and right, but Lampy and Thomas out in center and left field definitely having some trouble there.
In steps Zane Harris as he's ahead in the count 1-0. Harris at .253 in college in 2021. 1 homer, 31 RBI, another guy who can drive and runs for this Harbor Hawk team. Fastball fouled back off the netting, brings the count to even at 1-1.
And Harris, you can see just a absolutely massive, you can tell he's a very powerful hitter. Just a absolutely stocked person, standing in at 6'5", 260 pounds.
Wow, lots of size to him. See if he can use that size and drive one to right field. Looks like they're not exactly playing the line either. I mean, with Graceffo's fastball, it's understandable. A lot of the guys have been late on it so far. The 1-1 pitch. And it's a line to shortstop. Heck of a play on the jumping grab by Knapczyk for out number 2, and allowed out number 2 at that.
My mouth dropped open on that play. Just an absolutely amazing play from Knapczyk, leaping in the air and making that grab.
Showing off the athleticism. All the Cape players here, great athletes all around. You see so many guys who are 3-sport athletes, guys who were varsity in high school in multiple sports, and you're seeing that athleticism on display so far, multiple great defensive plays.
Yeah, you see, I was actually watching a documentary on the Cape League a few days ago, and someone was saying that the Cape League is really comprised of 10 all-star college teams.
Right.
These aren't normal college players.
No.
These are kids that have legit chances of making it to the big leagues.
We have Caleb Pendleton stepping in here, the catcher for Hyannis today, from Jensen Beach, Florida. He swings and misses at the off-speed pitch, and he's behind on the count 0-2. Jensen Beach just about 2.5 hours north of Miami on the East Coast. Pendleton also went to Florida Atlantic, or attends Florida Atlantic rather, will be a sophomore in the fall. The 0-2 here from Graceffo with 2 away. Swinging fouled back off the netting, straight back behind home plate as Pendleton stays alive. Pendleton's favorite pro team is the Texas Rangers. Lincoln, I think you guys share the same team.
Yes, we do. Go Rangers. Thank goodness it's not the Astros. That's all I have to say.
I can't say the Astros are well liked up here in the New England area either.
That's good. That's good.
Graceffo checks the runner, the 0-2. Swing and a miss. Terrific off-speed pitch there to end the inning, and the Harbor Hawks strand one. We're still scoreless as we head to the bottom of the second inning. Welcome back to Harbor Hawks baseball here on YouTube. Austin DeCouta and Lincoln Revill here from Doran Park. Fans earn a bachelor's or master's degree, complete a certificate, or take a single course through the Division of Continuing Education and Graduate Studies at Curry College. In-person and high-flex classes run days, evenings, and weekends in Milton and Plymouth. To learn more about programs in business, accounting, criminal justice, education, nursing, and more, visit curry.edu.
That was very nice. Very nice.
Thank you. Bottom of the second here is Bourne back up to bat. Halverson back on the hill for the Harbor Hawks. Dalton Rushing leading things off, the Louisville designated hitter today for the Braves. Sun's starting to set a bit more as you see the shadow creep up towards home plate. As the fastball misses high and outside for a ball, 2-0.
Now Rushing actually chose Louisville over some big baseball schools. Chose over LSU, Alabama, Vanderbilt, Arkansas, and Florida.
Wow.
A couple of names on there I wouldn't expect you to miss.
Yeah, I mean, so many options, right?
Yeah. I would have expected. I mean, if it were me, Vanderbilt and Arkansas come to mind immediately.
Right, because you see those two teams on ESPN about this time every year, around the College World Series. Louisville's a great program, too.
It is.
Just for a lot of people, you think college baseball, Vanderbilt comes to mind, right off the bat. The 2-1. That one's inside, nearly hit Rushing, but he just was able to get out of the way.
Yeah, Vanderbilt's they've just been dominant for so many years.
Absolutely.
I think it's just synonymous with great when it comes to baseball.
And you see every draft, it's usually within the top 10 picks, you'll see, 2 or 3 guys from Vanderbilt. Every year you had, I believe, Danzy Swanson at number 1 a few years back going there. I mean, the list just goes on and on as the count is now full at 3-2 after the strike there from Halverson.
Now, whenever Jack Later, the ace for the ace for Vandy right now, whenever he goes for the draft, how high do you think he'll go?
That's an interesting question. You have people hoping around this area that he goes to the Red Sox at 4, but I think with his talent, his combination of fastball and off-speed stuff, you could see him be taken number 1 because I believe Pittsburgh has that number 1 pick there, and then they need pitching. Really, they need everything,
yeah.
But they need pitching, I think, more than anything at this current moment, as the count is still full. But where do you see Leiter going?
Top 5, definitely.
Yeah, I think so.
I think it's hard to say, specifically, but definitely top 5.
Well, it's hard to, I don't think he can get by the Red Sox. If they have the 4th pick, and I think that one's grounded to second base, throw on to first is in time for out number 1. Efficient at bat there by Rushing as he draws 8 pitches and ends up resulting in a ground out. Nice play by Riccardi. But going back to the MLB draft, there's also Kumar Rocket, who's a Vanderbilt starter as well, and he's supposed to go. Originally, he was another top 5 pick, but I think his control issues have dropped him out of the top 5. He might go top 10 still.
Yeah, control definitely something you need to have, and if he does have control issues, like you say, I haven't seen a lot of him honestly, but if he does have control issues and they're as bad as you say, then I wouldn't be surprised if he dropped out of the top 10, honestly.
Well, it's definitely a possibility because I think teams are looking for guys, who have their control fine-tuned. A lot of teams don't want projects now. You see Casey Meyers, who was taken less than 3 years ago, and Casey Meyers is already in the Tigers rotation. So a lot of teams are just looking for guys who can play immediately. And Casey Meyers is another alumni of the Cape Cod Baseball League here. So lots of talent that comes out as Colby Thomas goes down quickly on 3 pitches for out number 2, and Halverson's got the strikeout pitch working now, second one of the game. Braylon Wimmer digs in here with 2 away in the bottom of the second. Wimmer getting the start today at second base for the Braves. Heading into his junior year in the fall with the Gamecocks.
Braden Wimmer actually coming from a pretty big line of baseball players. His dad actually a 2-time All-American from Wichita State, and he played for the 1992 Olympic baseball team.
Not too bad, huh?
Not bad at all, no.
It helps when you have an Olympic dad who can teach you some of the tricks of the trade. I know Mason Greer on the Harbor Hawks. His dad, Rusty, was an MLB player for a good amount of time with the Texas Rangers too, Lincoln. I know you're familiar with them.
Yeah, if you're a Rangers fan, especially my aunt, shout out to my Aunt Rachel real quick, but she is the biggest Rusty Greer fan I think that I know. We went to I think it was the 19 season, actually. Yeah, they gave out a Rusty Greer bobblehead, and as soon as they announced it, she was like, we're getting tickets. We went to the game.
One of the favorites, and Mason getting to continue the family name here in the Cape Cod League, and a guy who's on a lot of scouts' radars down here. The 1-2 here from Halverson. Swinging a grounder to Greer, speaking of. The throw on to first is offline, grabbed by Pujols, who was pulled off the bag. And it's an E5 there on the throw by Greer, which allows Wimmer to reach base safely with 2 away.
Yeah, and Greer trying to make that throw on the run. It was a good throw, just a little bit too far offside.
Peter Burns.
And actually, Pujols, I think he was trying to appeal to the first base umpire. That's Chuck Furlong, actually, over at first. I think he was actually trying to appeal that he came off the bag and tagged him as he caught the ball.
Close play there at first will be ruled a hit since Greer had to rush. And the official score is now an error. They originally ruled it a hit, but now an error. As Peter Burns digs in, the catcher batting from the left side. Boston College product. He'll be heading into his junior season in the fall. The pitch. Belt high for a strike on the outside corner to bring the count to 1-1. Halverson working from the stretch again.
Halverson coming out with interesting attire. You see those bright neon green cleats that he has. A little bit discolored. I think he's had them all season by the looks of it. But yeah, some bright green cleats that he has on the mound.
Yeah, the knee-high blue socks to go with it.
And then the bright orange Hyannis colors along with the blue. Just a very interesting combination.
You see a lot of guys with those knee-high socks. I kind of like that look a little bit better than the full pants. I know Hunter Pence used to wear that, made that look famous. As the runner goes, the throw from his knees is not in time.
Impressive throw there from Pendleton, though, on his knees, and still almost got it there in time, just a little bit off the glove of ball.
Stolen base there by Wimmer as the runner moves up to scoring position with 2 away. 0-0 the score. Austin DeCouta and Lincoln Revill here with you for this broadcast of Harbor Hawks baseball. 2 away in the inning. Wimmer gets his lead from second. The 3-1 to Burns, and that sails on him and is a ball. It gets by Pendleton, and the runner's going to advance to third on a pass ball off the glove. And that puts runners on the corners with 2 away for the 9-hitter in Knapczyk.
Now batting for the Braves, number 2, Christian Knapczyk.
Yeah, and even with runners on the corners, you just got to take a deep breath here. With 2 outs, you really just need a ground ball in the infield, which we've seen a lot of.
That brings up Christian Knapczyk, the third baseman today, or the shortstop rather. That first pitch is high again as a couple fastballs in a row. Nice stop there by Pendleton. We saw Knapczyk have that athletic play at short earlier in the game, leaping to off his feet, making the catch a few feet in the air, wearing number 2 at short. You know, that brings somebody to mind there, and Derek Jeter. Anytime you see that number 2 at short. As that one's grounded to second, Ricciardi flips on to second for the short force out, and that ends the inning. The Harbor Hawks strand the 2 as the Braves leave another runner in scoring position. We're still scoreless as we head to the top of the 3rd inning. Back in a moment with more Harbor Hawks baseball. Back here for the top of the third inning as Dominic Johnson's getting ready to lead it off for Hyannis. Austin DeCouta joined by Lincoln Revill as the sun begins to set here in Bourne. Just over the bridge in Bourne, Massachusetts at Upper Cape Tech here at Dorn Park, the home of the Bourne Braves for the first Cape Cod League baseball game in over a year, 681 days in between games. And fans are excited as they have packed the Dorn Field sidelines for this game, the opening day here from Bourne.
Yeah, judging by this turnout, you can tell that baseball has been missed throughout the Cape.
Graceffo back on the hill here for the top of the third. The 1-1 to Johnson is laced down the left field line and off the fence. Just a little bit ahead there of the off-speed pitch, but he did see it in. That brings the count to 1-2. Johnson, the center fielder today for Hyannis from Oklahoma State University. The 1-2. Tried to go with the curveball again, but Johnson didn't even think about it as it moves to 2-2. A finance major at Oklahoma State. His dad played football at OSU, and Dominic's favorite athletes are Mookie Betts and Floyd Mayweather. And he swings and misses at the off-speed pitch there for the first out. The Braves will send it around.
All right, here's another question for you, Austin. So, as you know, June
Hawks,
6th, Floyd Mayweather and Logan Paul. Was it Logan or Jake? I keep
I don't
getting
know
mixed
the
up.
difference between the
yeah,
two.
I get it mixed up. But one of the Paul brothers ended up fighting. And so my question is, who do you think won? They didn't pick a winner.
Floyd. I mean,
they didn't pick a winner, but people are actually saying that Paul should have won that fight.
I don't think so. I think if Floyd wanted to win, he was going to win. As that one is fouled back.
People are saying that just because Paul didn't get knocked out, that he won the fight, just because he lasted.
Now I think if Floyd wanted to, he could have knocked out Paul. And I think if you ask Dominic Johnson, that would, he would agree with us there. His favorite athlete being Floyd Mayweather.
Of course.
But yeah, I think if Floyd, a professional boxer, one of the greatest all time, as that one comes in and hits Caden Rose, so we have a base runner with one away. Top of the order coming back up with Ricciardi.
Now batting number 16, Mariano Ricciardi.
Ricciardi struck out to lead off the ball game. The second baseman's had a couple plays come his way today over there for Hyannis. Caden Rose taking his lead over at first. First pitch there to Ricciardi is high and outside for a ball, 1-0.
Austin, I'm seeing some bullpen action over there for the Braves right now.
A little bit early in the season, so we'll see how long they do let the starters go. And looking with that bullpen action, you might think that it could be an early day for Graceffo.
Yeah, and that's going to be Nick Zwack getting ready in the bullpen.
A left-hander, right?
He's a southpaw. It looks like he's actually a sidewinder, too.
Well, that's going to be tough for Hyannis, as we mentioned, all the left-handers in this lineup today, as that one's laced into the hole between short and third for a base hit. So the Harbor Hawks have two men on with one away, thanks to the base hit for Ricciardi.
Just a great shot there from Ricciardi, being able to rope that right in the gap between second and third base. And just a beautiful opposite field base hit.
Perfect piece of hitting, and that brings in Kyle Ball, the shortstop, with a good chance here to do some damage, one away. Ball, 22 years old, born on March 30th, 1999, from Rochester, New York, not too far away from the Cape League here in Massachusetts. Runners on first and second. One away and a check swing by Ball, and he did go, so he's behind the count 0-1. Grounded out to third in his first at-bat back in inning number 1. A terrific play by Agnes over there at third base. Coach Gary Calhoun over at third for the Harbor Hawks. Got to be happy with his team right now, putting the ball in play this inning. The 0-1. Called strike at the knees. The count goes to 0-2 to Ball. Pujols on deck for Hyannis. Graceffo with 4 punch-outs already in the ball game, and he's got ball in the chair 0-2, looking to make it 5. No runs, 2 hits for Hyannis, 1 error so far. No runs, 1 hit for Bourne. The 0-2. Swinging a soft liner to left field. That's going to get down for a base hit. Here comes Rose from second. The throw from left field is in time, and there's a collision at home plate. And we'll see what the ruling is. They will say that Rose is out. The throw took the catcher Burns into the baseline, and Caden Rose didn't really have a choice. He had to just run straight. But he is out on the throw. A terrific throw there from left field by Colby Thomas to eliminate the possible first run of the season for Hyannis.
Yeah, I know that definitely have some people that will probably be upset with that play, as they thought that was malicious intent there. But really, yeah, like you said, Austin, he just didn't have anywhere to go. There was really no choice that he had. And really just a great job there from Burns being able to hold on to that ball. He got rocked on that play.
He did. And the throw took him up the line, but it just happened to be at the same time that Caden Rose was coming in. Everyone's all right, back on their feet and ready to go with 2 away. That brings in Pujols, Marcos Pujols, playing first base today for Hyannis. Struck out back in the first inning, but he's got runners on second and third with 2 away. The pitch. Owen outside for a ball, 1-0. Ball did move into second base on the throw, so with Hyannis now having guys on second and third, good chance here to do some damage for Pujols, even with 2 away. Graceffo takes a look at second, long pause in the delivery. Swinging a liner to second. Fielded on the ground by Wimmer, throw to first in time, and just like that, the inning is over. Hyannis strands a pair. They came close, but we're still scoreless as we head to the bottom of the third. Back here from Doran Park as Joe Lampe gets ready to lead it off for the bottom of the third inning. Austin DeCouta with Lincoln Revill as we got a scoreless battle between the Harbor Hawks and the Bourne Braves. No runs, 3 hits, 1 error for Hyannis. No runs, 1 hit, no errors for Bourne as Lampe thought about bunting, pulled it back on the inside fastball, and he's ahead in the count 1-0. Lampe struck out swinging back in the top of the bottom of the first, rather, to lead off that bottom of the inning. 1-0, high for a ball, 2-0. Seems like so far, Lincoln, the method has been lots of fast stuff early, then go to the off speed when you have them, sitting 0-2 or 0-1.
Yeah, it has, and you got to be. It really does make you question every pitch if you're that batter. You see so many things you see so many fast balls that you really don't expect that off speed, so it really just keeps you questioning when that off speed is going to come. Although with the 3-0 count like it is now, I'm 99% sure this will be a fastball.
Probably doesn't have the green light on 3-0. The pitch is high for a ball, so it's a leadoff walk there for Lampy on 4 pitches. And the Braves are in business here. Second walk issued so far by Halverson. That brings up Kyler Fedko for the second time today. He singled but was left stranded at second base.
Harbor Hawks have some bullpen action going on right now. A little relief possibility coming up soon.
Seems like early in the year we might only see guys go 3 innings or so.
Yeah.
Maybe 4.
Definitely want to work them into the groove, especially for those guys that haven't been playing for a few weeks.
Runner goes. The pitch is swung on and popped foul down the right field line, out of play, and into the woods.
In the bullpen for the Harbor Hawks right now is David Furtado from Wake Forest University.
Furtado, one of the earliest players added to the Hyannis roster. Remember, he was on that roster a while back when the original roster was put out. A lot of guys come and go here during the summer. You know, some guys finishing up collegiately, some guys going off to play in other opportunities.
Yeah, some of the guys, even in the starting lineup, we didn't know about until we got the lineups today. So just shows the definitely shows the unpredictability of the Cape Cod Baseball League.
You never know who's going to show up to play. I mean, once they're on the roster, they might not stay too long, but you know they belong, though. Lots of talent in and out of the league. And that alumni list, if you go through that, I mean, there's just thousands of players who have played in here who are now at the MLB levels. That one is swung on, grounded past the glove of Halverson. Riccardi's throw to first is in time. They will get one. The runner moves to second. Nice play over there at second by Riccardi to get an out.
Yeah, and you were talking about just the alumni list in the league, and just a few names from Hyannis, really,
right.
Especially from the Mets, when Hyannis formerly called the Mets until 2010. But on that Mets team, Jason Varitek, Jackie Bradley Jr., just to name a couple, just some really big names coming out of Hyannis.
And Jackie Bradley's a guy who was very close with his host family when he was here in Hyannis, and comes back occasionally to Harbor Hawks games when he was with Boston. Now with Milwaukee is Bradley Jr., so might not see him this summer. As Reggie Crawford digs in again. Crawford grounded out to short back in the bottom of the first inning. Long pause from Halverson as Lampy gets his lead. Long secondary. Grounded to third. It's past Greer just by his glove and into left field for a base hit. They're going to hold Lampy at third. The throw goes to second. And that holds the runners at the corners. What an arm out there in left field. Heck of a throw.
Yeah, just a cannon there from Hardigan, getting that ball to second in no time. And that ball getting away from Riccardi. Very fortunate chance for the Harbor Hawks that Lampy ended up staying at third instead of going home on that ball that got away from Riccardi just a little bit.
Looks like they'll rule that a base hit officially, not an error on Greer at third. It took a bad hop, I believe, over his glove. Hit hard on the ground, that's for sure. So runners on the corners now for Agnos. The pitch. Curveball in the dirt. Heck of a block there by Pendleton. Likely saving a run. The 1-0 here from Agnos. You think the reliever out there and Furtado is getting a little bit quicker in his warm-up now.
Yeah.
Runners on the corners. A potentially dangerous situation here for Hyannis and Halverson on the mound. Long pause, the 1-0. Called strike on the inside corner. Agnos thought about it, but it was a called strike anyways. Count evens up at 1-1. Agnos grounded out to third in his first at-bat.
Now, one thing we do know about Agnos is that although he's 0 for 1 with a ground out, but one thing about him is that he's very susceptible to strikeouts. Just this past season in 2021, 50 strikeouts for his college team.
And Halverson has him behind in the count 1-2 here after a nice off-speed pitch, Lincoln. So could be a strikeout here on deck. Caught a boat going to first. The 1-2 went high and tight, but it was too far high. And that evens the count at 2-2. See if he goes back to that off-speed pitch here on 2-2. We know we don't predict the pitches because that doesn't usually work out in our favor.
No, definitely not.
We found out even further early in the game. Crawford gets his lead at first, Lampy at third. Runners on the corners with one away, the 2-2. And it is the off-speed pitch, grounded to short, chance at 2. Throw to second for 1, on to first. It is in time, and it's a double play that Halverson needed, and the inning is over. Nice double play there, Lincoln, to get Halverson out of the jam. And you know, the Harbor Hawks were able to not allow a run to come across. We're still scoreless here now.
Yeah, very fortunate play there. That middle infield showing off just how quick they can be. That infield combination of Ball, Ricciardi, and Pujols just showing off their speed in that double play. Just a very good play.
And that's one of the things here is Halverson, you're thinking he's on the ropes for a second. You have the reliever warming up in the bullpen, but just with that one pitch, he is backed and ready to go. And, you know, you're out of the inning, you're coming back up to bat. And we're going to send it over to our sideline reporter, Taylor Farmer, who has some more information here for us.
HP HUD, Sunderland Printing, Axis Bat, Quest Diagnostics, Cape Space, and of course, thank you to Major League Baseball
for the Harbor Hawks. But third inning, we start to settle in a little bit. 3 guys get on base. We leave 2 on, but hopefully they're swinging big, fouling off a lot of balls. Most balls have stayed in the infield. Hopefully we'll start connecting a little bit better and add something to the scoreboard heading into the top of the 4th.
Thank you very much, Taylor. The Harbor Hawks coming back up to bat here for the top of the 4th inning, as you mentioned. And Lincoln, for Hyannis, they've had some base runners, but they've stranded some base runners too, so that's been kind of an issue for Hyannis early on. Yeah,
getting base hits isn't the problem right now. We have 3 base hits so far. The problem is once we get those runners in scoring position, then the hits become elusive and we can't get to them. So really the key is now get those runners in the scoring position, which we've done, but the key now is to just find a good place for that ball to go with runners in scoring position.
We'll see what they can do here. It's going to be Greer, Hardigan, Harris due up for Hyannis. Greer did single in his first at-bat earlier in the game. It was an infield single in between first and second. Oh, so it's Pendleton up, right?
Yeah.
Oh, so I'm all good.
Oh, dang it.
Bring that up to date, and then we'll go live. Bottom of the 4th. We'll pick up where we were.
Okay.
We'll come back after the break and just say technical difficulties.
Yeah. That works.
Somebody hand me their scorebook. I missed about a minute.
Mine's a little messy, but I think I have it all
The Cape Cod
today.
Baseball League would like to welcome our new sponsor, Mosquito Mary's, a locally owned, family-operated business that provides all-natural mosquito and tick control services. Call 866-ASK-MARY or go to mosquitomarys.com.
New pitcher.
Mention the Cape Cod Baseball League and get your
Oop, is that
first
5?
treatment for only $29.
Looks like it.
5 is Furtado, if it is.
David Furtado.
Cool, yeah, it is. innings pitched. So he had 3 innings pitched.
Now pitching for the Harbor Hawks, David Furtado.
Back here for the bottom of the 4th inning from Dorn Park, Austin DeCouta and Lincoln Revill here with you. Minor technical difficulties, but we're back, Lincoln. We apologize for the slight delay. New pitcher on the mound here for Hyannis it's David Furtado taking the mound, the left-handed pitcher from Wake Forest, wearing number 5 today. One of the youngest players on the Harbor Hawks. Born in 2002, 19 years old. His dad, David, played basketball at North Florida. His mom, Ashley, played volleyball and tennis at Palm Beach Atlantic. His sister plays volleyball at Tennessee Tech. An all-around athletic family, which seems to be the gist with a lot of these guys coming from athletic families.
Yeah, you gotta really love just like coming from an entire family of college-level athletes. Just something that you definitely don't see every day. Definitely
Helpful too, growing up. I mean, you're surrounded by people who knew how to play their sport well at the collegiate level. His first pitch of the day from Furtado is a ball in the outside corner to Rushing. Lefty-lefty matchup here, which might have prompted the move to bring in Furtado out of the bullpen. The line is officially closed today on Halverson. 3 innings pitched for him. 2 hits, no runs. Couple of walks. Not a bad first start for Halverson.
No, he evened up his walks and strikeouts, 2 each, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts. So definitely not a good outing, or definitely not a bad outing, especially for his first one of the season. And at this point, you really just got to think about how good he's going to get throughout the season as he gets more and more under his belt.
Absolutely. It's not a, you're not expecting a 6-inning shutout to start things off. But, you got 3 innings, no runs, and that's a good positive step to start the season. The 3-0. Inside called strike. 3-1, first strike there fired by Furtado. Defense remains the same for Hyannis here in the bottom of the 4th. 2 hits on the day for Bourne. The 3-1. Called strike on the outside corner. Nice job battling back by Furtado, and he's now bring the count to full at 3-2.
Now, Furtado, we didn't find stats for the 2021 season, but we didn't find much at least, but we saw quite a bit for the 2020 season, and during that shortened season ended up with a 0.37 ERA and with 31 strikeouts through just 19 innings. Just a very good number.
play just behind the bleachers down the first base line. Swack 6-5 at Xavier, 3.15 ERA in 15 appearances, started 14 games, so coming onto the bullpen here against a lefty-heavy Hyannis lineup. Caden Rose in the top of the order. It has Anders at the top with Ricciardi, Pujols, Greer. The pitch is grounded to short, and it's behind the glove of Knapczyk, and Rose is going to reach. We'll see if they scored that a hit or an error. Would have been a close play at first.
I'd say I would assume that they're probably going to call that an error,
number 16,
honestly.
Mariano Ricciardi.
If it was hit a little harder, if it had taken a bad hop, then I would think that it would be a hit, but I'd say that it would be an error.
And they will rule it an E6 there on Knapczyk, and that brings up the top of the order for the Harbor Hawks. Lefty-lefty matchup as Ricciardi. The pitch, swinging a pop-up foul out of play down the left field line. Ricciardi 1 for 2 on the day, a single and a strikeout. Was stranded at third in the top of the third inning, top of the fifth here. Still scoreless. No runs, 4 hits, 1 error for the Harbor Hawks. No runs, 3 hits, 1 error for the Braves as the pickoff move to first is not going to get Rose as he dives back safely. Caden Rose was hit by a pitch back in the top of the third inning, nearly scored on a single to left field, but was cut down by a terrific throw from Colby Thomas, resulting in a collision at the plate. Everyone was all right, but that was a great play and a scary play at the same time, Lincoln.
Yeah, it just shows you how physical baseball can be. It's not an overly physical sport like football or hockey, for example, but it can have its physical moments, and that was one that we saw. Just a very dangerous play, and we were glad that everybody was okay.
Absolutely. The 1-1. Called strike. Looked like a little bit of a slider or cutter there. Some movement to that pitch, and Ricciardi paused at the plate. 1-2 the count. Swack looking to strand the runner on first. The pitch. Swinging a soft pop-up to third. Tough play going back into left, and the catch is made on the run. Nice play retreating there to make the play by Agnos, and there's 2 away.
With the owner of a white SUV, Massachusetts license plate IC93ML, please move your vehicle immediately. Thank you. Now batting number 26, Kyle Ball.
You know, with that PA announcement that just came up, they had a missing car. I heard white car, and I got scared for a second there.
It's not yours?
No.
Right.
It was a Massachusetts license plate.
Well, that's definitely not you then.
No, definitely not.
Kyle Ball back in here. 1 for 2 on the day. He singled earlier in the game, and that one's lined off the netting down the first base line. Rose getting his lead at first after reaching on the error by the shortstop, Knapczyk. Pickoff move almost had Rose leaning, but he's able to recover and dive back safely. Looked like Lincoln, he was caught in between for a second.
Yeah, he was looking for that secondary lead there on that pitch, and, you know, it's just one of those things with a lefty pitcher. You got to wait just ever so slightly longer for him to go forward instead of, because one bad pickoff move, and if you get too far off, it can prove costly.
Absolutely. The 0-1 from Zwack. Called strike. Nice movement on the fastball. 0-2 now with 2 away in the inning, and the Braves are 1 pitch away from stranding another runner. Hyannis not able to capitalize quite yet on the base runners they've accumulated so far through nearly 5 innings. Got him leaning that time, and Rose takes off for second. The throw is in time, and they pick off Caden Rose to end of the top of the 5th inning. Still scoreless here from Doran Park. We'll be back in just a moment with more Harbor Hawks baseball. Welcome back here into Doran Park. Austin DeCouta, Lincoln Revill, and to start things off here, Lincoln Revill, you'll be taking over the play-by-play duties for the rest of the game.
Yes, I will. I'm sorry, I probably won't do as well of a job as you did.
I don't think
as you
so.
just did, Austin. But do my best here. All right, here we go. Bottom of the fifth.
I'm sure you'll do much better.
I don't know.
First game jitters, right?
Yeah, we'll see. Furtado back on the mound. This first pitch fouled off, a little check swing there. This one coming from Christian Knapczyk. Knapczyk at 0 for 1 so far. He reached on a fielder's choice. That fielder's choice ended up going over to Ricciardi at second base, and he tossed that one over to second to end the inning, actually. Furtado, the lefty, has his sign. Comes set, glove at his belt, comes home. Breaking ball, called strike. Brings the count even at 1-1.
Great curveball there by Furtado, and guys with great curveballs, they can locate it and throw it for a strike like he did there. Behind 1-0, and he decides to go to that off-speed pitch, which shows you he's got great command of it.
And that pitch missing down low brings the count now to 2-1. It looks like it's actually 1-2. I apologize there. The 1-2 is in the dirt. 2-2 now the count.
It did say 2-1 at one point, I believe.
It did,
right?
yes. And then I looked back up, and it had jumped to 3-1 before the next pitch. Then it went back to 0, and I was like, what is going on?
I think we're square now at 2-2.
Yeah, 2-2. Here's the 2-2. Lofted towards short, and that is caught. Ball tracking that one down and making the grab for out number 1.
Right place, right time there by Ball. I mean, that ball is a couple feet to the left or the right. It's probably a base hit, but lined right at him. Sometimes in baseball you can be unlucky, and that's an example there.
That's great baseball from Ball, tracking down that ball.
That won't get confusing at all at any point this year.
No, definitely not. And now with one away, that Joe Lamp coming up back to the plate, and he did go, says the home plate, says the third base umpire, that is. He tried to check swing on that breaking ball. Ended up going to strike 1. 0-1 the count with 1 away. We are scoreless here in the bottom half of the 5th inning. Both teams have had some runners in scoring position. Plenty of scoring chances between the two teams, but neither have been able to capitalize so far. And we'll see. I think whoever scores first will most likely take the win in today's game.
That's how it feels, Lincoln. I mean, every time there is a runner in scoring position, we've seen 2 double plays with Hyannis in the field today. We've seen lots of base runners eliminated quickly.
As this one dribbled over to first, and that's going to be Pujols stepping on the bag himself for out number 2. Going to go down as a 3 unassisted for those of y'all keeping score in your scorebooks at home, as I know a lot of y'all are.
Now batting for Bourne, number
and with
3,
2 away, brings Kyler Fedko back to the plate. Fedko now at 1 for 2, that is, had a single in the first and a ground out in the third.
He's made solid contact so far. Now facing a left-handed pitcher for the first time. We'll see how he does against Furtado.
And you know that being a lefty on righty matchup, that this matchup really goes to the advantage of Fedko being able to watch that breaking ball break inside instead of breaking outside. This one lofted into foul territory. Pujols ranging over. Could be trouble, and that drops foul.
That's a tough play. I mean, a lot of first basemen are going to have trouble making that play. They're going back. I mean, that's a ball that gets you twisted around, as we saw there.
Yeah, and he tracked over into that last bit of sunlight that we have here. Could have given him a little bit of trouble there. Count goes to 0-2, 2 away. So even though he didn't make that grab, it's still a good situation for Furtado, looking for that last strike here. Give him his first strikeout of the night. The 0-2 misses down low and outside. Ball 1.
Tried to locate that fastball after he hasn't really thrown a lot of off-speed today. We saw the curveball earlier in the inning, but we'll see if he decides to go with that curveball again.
And the best kind of strikeout is whenever you can get that fastball just on the outside corner and just really paint that corner.
Just freeze him. You saw guys like Greg Maddux are so good at that, guys who could put the ball on a dime. And you see a lot of pitchers now with control issues. I mean, they throw 100 and they have a great fastball, but they can't locate it. I mean, some of the pitchers back in the 90s, early 2000s would have a fastball only at 92, but they could locate it anywhere they want, and that's the best one.
Yeah, Greg Maddux, you look at how he pitched. His fastest pitch is maybe 92, 93 in his career, and he was just able to locate it so nicely. That's why he's one of the, in my opinion, might be one of the top pitchers.
I would agree with that. And you have guys like DeGrom who are just unbelievable because they can do it both. DeGrom touches 100 and he can locate it wherever he wants. I mean, he's just unreal, though.
Yeah, DeGrom definitely on track to make a good case for MVP, as this one hit up the middle for a base hit. And Kyler Fedko now at 2 for 3 with another single.
Now batting, number 21, Reggie.
And with that 2-2 count, he saw that fastball, and he took advantage of it, hitting that one just to the left of Furtado and getting that one into the gap for a base hit.
That brings up the second half of the UConn dynamic duo, Lincoln. And for Fedko, with 2 hits to start the day, that's going to be a huge confidence booster to start the season. I mean, you're coming in, swinging the bat hot right off the start. I mean, that's going to carry over into the first few games.
Yeah, it is. And his average, 396 in the regular season, and really just showing why it was 396. He's taking advantage of every pitch as that ball gets past, that one getting past Pendleton. And Fedko now into second as Reggie Crawford faces a 1-0 count with 2 away.
Crawford's just a pro hitter, a guy who you expect to see in the majors one day. I mean, he's hit at all levels. At UConn, we talked about his average, his power, and I expect a big summer for him here.
The 1-0 misses high and away. He's got the 2-0 now. It's just about 7:30 here, 7:27 actually. A little bit of sunlight still, but first base side of the infield, almost a straight line of shade, starting to move in. 3-0 now the count, 2 away. Furtado comes home. That is a called strike.
It's an important strike there. You don't want to walk Reggie Crawford here. You don't want to just kind of, bring up another right-handed hitter on deck and allow Crawford to get on in a lefty-lefty.
Oh, yeah, definitely not. As this one lifted towards foul territory, and this is going to be Pendleton. Pujols calls him off and makes the grab for out number 3. Made it look a little more difficult than it needed to be, but gets that third out anyway, and we head to the 6th, still scoreless, and we'll be right back. You're watching Harbor Hawks Baseball on this YouTube broadcast. Back for the top of the 6th inning, Harbor Hawks back at the plate. Starting off, Marcos Pujols, actually.
Now batting for Hyannis,
that is not Marcos
26,
Pujols.
Kyle
That is going to be Kyle Ball, actually. I do apologize there. Marcos Pujols will be on deck, and Mason Greer will be in the hole to start things off. Kyle Ball was at the plate in that top of the 5th inning whenever Caden Rose, actually that was...
Yeah, it was Caden Rose who got picked off at the end of the 5th inning, the top of the 5th, rather.
Yeah, I thought it was, but I had a mistake in my scorebook here, so I do apologize about that. 0-1 the count, and that is a swing and a miss. Brings the count to 0-2 now.
Lots of guys getting on base but not getting past second tonight, so it can get a little confusing seeing all the traffic but no runs coming across.
Yeah, definitely. The 0-2 comes in. That's a high drive towards center field, and that's going to be Lamp making the grab, and that is out number 1. And that was Lampy, actually. That was a easy grab there for Lampy, as he just had to move over a little bit to his right and make that grab.
Just got under it a bit. I mean, he timed it up pretty well, just got under the bat a little bit, dropped the hands there, but I'm sure he'll learn from that at bat.
And with one out, that brings Marcos Pujols to the plate. Pujols 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a ground out, looking for his first time on base.
Pujols is a guy with a lot of power. He hasn't been able to use that power yet. I mean, they've been eliminating that power by going to the outside part of the plate. Now they come way in on him, Lincoln. But a lot of these power hitters, they try to keep the ball out on you. And especially with Pujols being able to pull the ball, they've really tried to just keep it on the outside parts of the dish all night.
One good pitch that he gets really could just kick off this season for him on the right note, as that one comes in for strike 1, about at thigh level on the inside part of the plate.
See where he goes here. Probably back to the fastball, as Pujols was a little bit behind the one earlier in the day.
The 2-1. You're right, he did go to the fastball on the outside, strike 2. That evens the count up at 2-2 with 1 away.
Pujols has that wide stance at the dish. If you can try to jam him on the hands, it might have a little bit of tough time in getting to that ball, especially lefty-lefty.
A wide open stance for the left-hander as he swings at that ball in the dirt, and that is a drop third strike. Throw to first is in time for out number 2. Pujols down on a drop third strike, and that brings Mason Greer to the plate. Greer, as we saw, had a huge double, and that was actually during one of our blackouts. And so he had a double to center field that actually went off the fence. Almost a first run and first home run, as that is actually
number 17.
That's Luke Mann, actually, coming in for Mason Greer.
Changing things up a little bit, and Greer had played really well to this point. A couple of hits for him, 2 for 2 on the day, but Mann's going to get a chance to swing it here. Another lefty-lefty. That's an interesting matchup here.
It is.
You had a righty in Greer, but they decided to bring the lefty in to face the left-handed pitcher, which you don't see too often.
Mm-hmm. Man at a little disadvantage with that breaking ball.
Absolutely. We saw it to Pujols, and I'm sure we'll see it again in this at-bat.
Man with that leg guard on his right leg, right shin. The 1-1 from Zwack is a called strike. 1-2 with 2 away now the count.
Zwack's been very efficient out of the bullpen so far, and all the pitchers have really been efficient in this game for the most part.
Right, Austin, we're really getting a pitcher's duel out of this game for sure. The 1-2. Rip towards third base, a slow roller. That's could be trouble for Agnos, and he makes the play. My goodness. A couple of great plays for Agnos as that ends the top of the 6th inning, and we head to the bottom of the 6th, still scoreless, with the Braves getting their turn at the plate. Right after this, you're watching Harbor Hawk Baseball on the Harbor Hawk Baseball Network. Bottom of the 6th coming up in Bourne, Massachusetts. Still scoreless here between the Bourne Braves and the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. Reggie Crawford, that is Zachary Agnos getting ready to get things started here, followed by Dalton Rushing and Colby Thomas. Agnos 0 for 2 with a ground out in the first, and then he hit into a 6-4-3 double play in the third, getting his third at bat, looking for his first time on base. We're having a interesting substitution in place of Mason Greer. Luke Mann now at third base.
Greer's had a great game overall for the Harbor Hawks, and another guy defensively who's had a great game is Agnos for the Braves.
Definitely an unexpected substitution, but at this early in the game, this early in the season, you might just be getting some playing time for every player, see who plays best at this level at this point in time.
It looks like Pendleton is no longer behind the dish either. We'll have to check that in a second as well.
As that ball bounces in the dirt and over the shoulder of our new catcher. We'll see who that catcher is.
It's Dylan Post now in the game behind the plate for the Harbor Hawks, another substitution.
So 1-2 now the count. Crawford in the right-handed box. Pitch comes in. Breaking ball. Called strike 3. That is strikeout number 1 for Furtado.
Now batting number 20.
And what a beautiful strikeout it was. Had that curveball started off on the outside and just dropped right into the heart of the plate. Just a beautiful pitch.
He's starting to really get a good feel for that curveball now as Furtado. We've seen him throw it a couple times, and now getting the punch out on it. Lefty-lefty, we'll see if he goes to it again.
And you were right, goes to the curveball. You should be the one that predicts pitches. I shouldn't be the one doing it.
Lucky guess, lucky guess. I think I should go get a scratch ticket.
You've done it like 2 or 3 times. Yeah, go get a scratch ticket. Split the money with me afterwards. This one ripped into right field for a base hit, and that is going to be Zachary Agnos. Now at 1 for 3. Now in the first after that single.
Good piece of hitting there, just timing up the pitch there for Furtado. And
now batting.
We've seen a lot of base runners, with 1 out in innings, but we'll see if they can capitalize with Colby Thomas coming up now. Guy's had a good game in the field, another one of those Bourne Braves with a single. See if he can do something damage here.
And this one hit towards third. That's Mann throwing to second for 1. Over to first is past Pujols. So the out will go to second, so that's going to be Rushing, reaching base on a fielder's choice.
Now batting for Bourne, number 29, Braylon Wimmer.
So that 5-4 put out. With 2 away and a runner on first, Colby Thomas. That's Braylon Wimmer actually stepping up to the plate. I've missed a base runner. Holy cow. Is this bunt laid down? I'm not sure I'm not sure if that was intentional or not. He showed the bunt and then stood up with the bunt still shown and ended up making contact with the ball.
I think he got caught trying to pull it back, but didn't have enough time to pull it back. Maybe.
Maybe.
There are 2 outs in the inning. Maybe you try to squeeze one down the first base line.
And that 0-1 pitch swung on and missed. A big swing there from Wimmer. That brings the count to 0-2, 2 away. Still scoreless, 0-0 the score. Braves with 5 hits, Hawks with 4, and 1 error apiece. This one lofted and fouled. Keeps the count at 0-2.
See where Furtado goes here. We've seen the curveball be executed pretty well. You can see that Wimmer's late on the fastball. I wouldn't be surprised if he tries to locate a fastball in the outer half.
This one hit back up the middle, and that's going to be stopped. Throw to first is a little bit high. That throw coming in from Furtado a little bit high, but Pujols grabs it and comes down on the bag and makes the third out. We head to the 7th, still scoreless on the Harbor Hawk Baseball Network. Seventh inning coming up, the last three between the Harbor Hawks and the Bourne Braves. And before we get started with this seventh inning, a quick message from Milton Cat for sales and rentals of Caterpillar machinery, generators, and marine engines. Visit miltoncat.com, your area cat dealer. Milton Cat, the Cape and Islands Caterpillar dealer, is proud to be a sponsor of today's game. Due up now for the Harbor Hawks. Mitchell Hardigan stepping up to the plate to start us off, followed by Zane Harris and Caleb Pendleton. Hardigan at 0 for 2 with a fly out and a ground out so far to his name in the left-handed box once again. Pitch from Zwack. Misses outside for ball one, 1-0 the count.
Lights are coming on here at Doran Park. As we see the sun set further. I wonder if that will take any effect on the outfield, as you're now caught in between the shade, the sun, and the lights.
The 1-0. Big swing and a miss there. Hardigan can't connect. 1-1 now the count.
You know, as Hardigan chokes up a little bit on the bat there with 2 strikes. You see a lot of pro hitters like Joey Votto do that as well. Only 1 strike here, he chokes up as well.
And with 2 strikes, it's definitely something that you're taught from a very early age. You want to choke up just a little bit and make that, it makes the bat faster. So
yeah,
you can see why he wants to go with that approach. 1-2 now the count. And that one down in the dirt brings the count even at 2.
One of the best I've seen doing that is Joey Votto too, as the Reds, like I mentioned. I mean, he'll choke up like a good 6 inches on it too, and just have like half of a bat to swing. And he's always made contact on it. I mean, the guy's been an all-star before, had a lot of success in the league.
And you see a little something different, primarily in I've seen this in softball a lot, especially at the college level, where instead of choking up on the bat, they'll actually separate their hands, and so one will be at the knob of the bat, and then the other one will be like a few inches up, and so they'll actually have separation, which sort of keeps their hands inside and helps make the bat faster as well. The payoff is a called strike 3. Zwack painting the corner for that first strikeout of the inning. Mitchell Hardigan goes down looking, and with 1 away, that brings Zane Harris to the plate. Harris over 2 as well with a line out and a ground out.
Harris has hit the ball well today. I mean, the line out he made pretty solid contact on back in the second inning. Mentioned the size that he has. If he can get something up in the upper half, belt up, I mean, he's a guy who can pull one to that short porch and right.
Yeah, as we mentioned earlier, very powerful hitter, very big player at 6'5" and 260 pounds. Just a lot of power. So he hits this one down towards third, and that's going to be picked up and thrown to first by Agnos, and that is in time for out number 2.
Fundamental play there by Agnos. He's had a great game over there at third. Just if it's hit his way, it's been an automatic out so far this game.
Yeah, it has, and he's had not only has he had outs a lot at that position, he's had very good plays for outs. Very flashy, almost Sports Center worthy plays.
I know the scouts are definitely taking note of that glove over there.
Very much, yes. And with 2 away, Caleb Pendleton that's actually no.
Now batting, number 34.
That is Dylan Post at the plate. He came in for Pendleton last half inning.
University of Houston catcher.
With 0-1, he hits that one off the plate, and that's going to be fair ball. Throw to first is not in time. Post beats the throw out. A bang-bang play with 2 away. But with 2 away, the Hawks now have a runner on first for Dominic Johnson.
That's a tough play. It's like a swinging bunt down the line, especially with a left-handed pitcher going to his right, having to turn, switch the feet and throw to first. Tough play, and Post is able to beat that out. And now with 2 outs, you're looking to finally maybe push a runner across here, at least get the runner moved up a little bit.
Yeah,
keep the inning going.
With that play, that ball was put just far enough to where it wasn't easy for any fielder to get to, and so it was just a perfect placement there.
A frustrating play if you're the pitcher, because you do everything well enough to get him to make weak contact, not hit the ball far, and nothing you can do differently, really.
1-0 now the count. Swag comes set, ready for this pitch to Dominic Johnson. A hefty swing there from the righty, but can't connect.
Johnson's punched out twice tonight in both his at-bats, but he's a guy who's had some really solid swings. Like, if he makes contact, that thing's going to go for a ride. I think he's got a really good, good compact swing, good bat speed as well.
You can tell that he wants to hit, and if he hits the ball, he's definitely going to hit it far if he gets enough lift on it.
Absolutely.
2 balls, 1 strike to count. Still scoreless here in the top of the 7th. Both teams now at 5 hits apiece and 1 error apiece.
Identical scoreboard out there in right field for the most part.
And that 2-1 pitch is a swing and a miss.
Just a half-inch off all these pitches there for Johnson. I mean, just a little bit on top of that ball. If he can get something up above the belt, I think he's going to give it a good ride.
Now that scoreboard even more uniform than it was before. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs.
And the runs, hits, and errors match, as we mentioned, and then zeros across the board otherwise, so we're just all symmetrical.
Yeah, the only difference is that Dominic Johnson wearing number 6 instead of number 2.
There you go.
Unfortunate, but
Can't win them all.
Yeah, definitely not. It'd be too good to be true if it was all the same. That 2-2 pitch fouled off, keeps the count even at 2.
He's timing it. He's just a little bit under it still. Straight back off the netting. It's a pitch he's probably not going to throw again because he knows that Johnson's just a little bit under it, but he's timing it well. So maybe go something off speed here in the dirt, or I'd go either go high or low here, but you don't want to go belt high. I mean, that's usually a general rule, but Johnson's a guy need a belt too. He hits really well, so you'd either bury something into the dirt or get him to chase high.
He's doing a good job of fighting off those belt-high pitches, and sooner or later he's going to make some solid contact with it. He got a piece of that one too. They swung on and barely tapped it, as we thought he missed that one at first, but he barely got a piece of it, and so that'll keep the count at 2-2.
He did go in the dirt. Looked like a changeup or a fastball with some sink to it. Wouldn't be surprised if he went back and doubled down on that pitch.
I'm going to say after that slow pitch, you want to go back with a fastball, and I'm going to say up high. See if I'm right.
See where he goes.
Fastball was right, but it was the opposite of up high. Yeah, it was down in the dirt. 3-2 now the count.
And the runner's going to be in motion here, too, for the Harbor Hawks. So, 3-2, 2 outs. You get a ball in the gap. Get him moving.
Yeah, that just needs to turn on the wheels. Dylan Post. 6'2", 205 pounds. Looks like he has some speed, but we haven't gotten a chance to see that yet. So we'll maybe see here. That 3-2, up high and outside, ball 4. And Dominic Johnson finally reaches base for the first time tonight. 2 strikeouts before that at bat, and then he reaches base with a full count walk, and that's going to bring Caden Rose. Rose has yet to register an at bat. He's had 2 appearances. He got hit by a pitch, and he reached on an error. And after that error, he ended up getting picked off at first.
Rose plays at Alabama, a guy who faces a lot of great pitching down there. Shortstop today, can play a little bit of outfield as well. And as you mentioned, Lincoln, he's been on base twice, but neither of them have been a hit.
The 0-1 lofted towards foul territory and down to the first base line. That could be trouble for Crawford, and that is going to drop for strike 2. Oh and 2 now the count. Rose, the sophomore from Alabama, 5'10", 185 pounds. He's in the right-handed box. Zwack has a sign from Burns. Glove near his chest. He kicks and delivers, and that's fouled off. Keeps the count at 0-2.
Good job fighting off a tough pitch, low in the zone. Rose staying alive, waiting for that pitch that he can drive.
The whole playing field, except for just a little bit of grass out in right field. Field almost completely covered in shade as the sun starts to creep lower and lower. 0-2, 2 away. Zwack comes home. Misses down low.
That's a great take there by Rose. You saw the same pitch nearly, 2 in a row. The first one was able to just a tap foul, but a good job just laying off that one. It's a hard pitch to make contact on. You're not going to do anything with it if you do.
Yeah, one of those pitches, it's better to just foul it off and wait for a better one.
Absolutely.
Foul off the trash and just wait for a great pitch. And that was a great pitch, but he just couldn't connect with it. 1-2, he swings and misses for strike 3, and that will end the top of the 7th inning. 7th inning stretch coming up. And we'll be right back. You're watching Harbor Hawk Baseball on the Harbor Hawk Baseball Network.
Trey Robertson.
Bottom half of the 7th inning coming up on the Harbor Hawk Digital Network. And before we get started here, we want to throw it down to our sideline reporter, Taylor Farmer. Taylor, what's going on?
Thanks, Lincoln. So David Furtado was just on the mound, and I caught up with an interview with him earlier this week. He actually goes by Hunter, Wake Forest lefty pitcher. He seems comfortable. Both the pitchers that we've had have done well so far. A few wild pitches, but our catcher is keeping them in. Now heading into the bottom of the 7th, we have Trey Robertson on the mound, so we'll see what he can do for us here.
All right, awesome. Thank you, Taylor. Peter Burns starting us off here for the Braves, followed by Christian Knapczyk and Joe Lampe. 8-9-1 coming up as Burns shows bunt, fouls it off, and that brings the count to 0-1.
Good idea there by Burns to start the inning off, try to get on base, get something going, but just couldn't get that one fair. I mean, Trey came high and tight with a fastball.
Pitch comes in, and that is a new pitcher coming in for the Harbor Hawks. That's going to be Trey Robertson, all the way from University of Missouri.
Another lefty. We've seen lefties out of the bullpen so far for the Harbor Hawks. Furtado, now Robertson.
This one chopped over towards second, and that's going to be picked up by Ricciardi. Throw to first is in time for out number 1. Burns goes down with that 4-3 putout. That's going to bring Christian Knapczyk up to the plate. Knapczyk 0 for 2.
Number 2.
Two identical at-bats so far. Both, he had a 4-6 putout and F6, that is. So he's hit to short in both at-bats so far. Looking for his first hit of the game. Lefty on lefty action as he bunts that one down, and it goes foul. Brings the count to 0-1 once again with one away.
Knapczyk has a little bit of speed, too, if he can get on. He was 3 for 4 in stolen bases as a freshman at Louisville in 2020. He's able to swipe a few bags in 2021 as well. Pretty efficient in that department. Another lefty-lefty matchup.
0-1 the count. Robertson comes home. Misses up high. Knapczyk from Plainville, Illinois. Sporting a .297 average and a .374 on-base percentage from Louisville in the 2021 season. Off the glove of Robertson. That's going to be trouble, and that will be no play as that goes off the glove, and the ball just dies essentially, and Ball can't come up with it. So that should go down as an infield single, but we'll see how they score it here. And that will be scored as a hit, so the Braves get their 6th hit as Knapczyk reaches first on that infield single.
Hard hit ball, and Robertson trying to react, put his glove down, just got by him. You know, not much he can do differently there as the pitcher just reacting to it.
Yeah, if you don't have luck on your side, there's very little chance that you will make that play. As that one goes off the glove of a diving Pujols, and he dives for the play, and he can't make it, and that's going to be runners on first and second now. Joe Lampe beating out the play, sliding into first. That's going to bring runners on first and second now for Kyler Fedko. 1 away still, and with 1 away, runners on first and second. Infield fly rule in effect.
And
Lots
two balls in a row that haven't made it out of the infield, but 2 hits.
Very good hard hits, and both have been off the glove of infielders or fielders for the Harbor Hawks, but they just haven't been able to come up with that play. Fedko so far, actually he lifts that one over into right, and that is going to be caught by Rose. And Knapczyk will advance to third base. Meanwhile, Lampe stays at first, and with runners on the corners and 2 away now, that's going to bring up Reggie Crawford. Fedko goes down with that F9.
Now batting number 21, Reggie.
And Austin, we've seen this plenty of times in this game where we have runners in scoring position. We'll just have to see if this time maybe things will be different and somebody scores a run here.
Yeah, and it just hasn't, you know, it's been missed opportunities for both sides. You see 12 hits between the 2 teams, but 0 runs. It's rare that you see that many hits, but no runs.
As that one swung on and fouled off, that foul tip there from Reggie Crawford. That ends up going off the glove of Post right after that. So that brings the count to 0-1, 2 away.
This is a guy who drives in all the runs, too. We mentioned it earlier in the broadcast. 62 RBI in 51 games played last season at UConn.
He swings and misses at that one. Meanwhile, that ball gets past Post. And Lampe extends over to second. So runners now on second and third. 2 away with an 0-2 count.
He just got him on the off-speed, the curveball. I wonder if he goes back to the well again because he had Crawford way out in front.
Well, what we've seen so far is that if the breaking ball works, a lot of these pitchers have gone back to it. Got him with the high cheddar, strike 3. A 3-pitch strikeout for Reggie Crawford. And that ends the 7th inning. We are still scoreless heading into the final 2 frames. And we'll see if anything changes. You're watching Harbor Hawk Baseball on the Harbor Hawk Baseball Network. Top of the 8th inning coming up from Bourne, Massachusetts. Still scoreless with this game between the Bourne Braves and the Harbor Hawks. Coming up for the Harbor Hawks, Mariano Ricciardi starting things off. 1-2-3 coming up. Ricciardi, Ball, and Pujols. awaiting their next at-bats, and Ricciardi back in the left-handed box. Currently at 1 for 3, a strikeout, a flyout, and he also reached on a single in the third. Ended up reaching third base before that inning ended. One of the few runners in scoring position for the Harbor Hawks that have not been able to come home. 0-1, misses inside for ball one. Brings count even, 1 ball and 1 strike.
This is the part of the lineup you want here late in the ball game. You know, top of the 8th inning, you have your leadoff man on, leading off an inning, so this is a chance for the Harbor Hawks.
1-1 pitch, a big swing there from Ricciardi, but he can't connect. Brings the count to 1-2. Ricciardi from the University of Dayton had a team-high 35-game on-base streak and ranked 4th in his conference with a .469 on-base percentage. 2-2 now the count. Swack still on the mound for the Braves. The tiebreaker, 2-2. A late swing there from Ricciardi. He gets him swinging. And that's a strikeout to start us off here in the 8th. And that brings Kyle Ball to the plate. Ball also 1 for 3.
Number 26.
Ground out,
Kyle
fly out,
Ball.
and a single.
I think sometime back in the 4th inning, Lincoln, you said the team who scores first is going to win this game, and that still stands true, I think.
It does, yes, especially if we get to the 9th. This is a chopper hit towards third. That's going to be picked up by Knapcheck. Throw to first is in time for out number 2.
Quick out there. First pitch of the at-bat, swinging. At this point in the game, you're not looking to take pitches, really. You're looking to be aggressive and put a ball in the gap.
Most definitely, yeah. Yeah, and the Harbor Hawks offense so far has been aggressive. Ricciardi swung on at a few, couldn't make contact with him, but he did go down swinging, so that was something you like to see. Marcos Pujols now at the plate. Not related to Albert Pujols, but same last name. Watches this one go low. Brings the count to 1-0 now. Pujols 0 for 3, a strikeout, a ground out. Actually 2 strikeouts as his last at bat ended in a drop third strike. 1-0. Misses just a bit outside.
Although he struck out twice, he swung at good pitches in both the at-bats that he did strike out, and we're seeing that here, you know, a couple close takes. So sometimes when guys go down on strikes, they start chasing things later in the game, but Pujols still displaying a good discipline at the plate.
So he watches that one go low. Borderline pitches, like you said, just very good discipline at the plate in this at-bat. 3-0 the count. Three balls, no strikes. That's a called strike on the outside part of the plate. 3-1 now the count from Zwack.
It's a good take, though, because that's on the outside half. You're not going to do much with that. Maybe, you know, send it down the left field line, but good take on 3-0 at this point in the game. You know, don't need to chase anything.
Yeah, a pitch like that, that's really up to the opinion of the umpire. You can't really tell whether that's going to be a strike or not. As that one, a little bit low, but a called strike anyway. 3-2 now the count.
Zwack is just nibbling around the strike zone this at bat, you know, picking his spots, and he's hitting the black on that one, bringing the count full. I mean, payoff pitch here.
3-2, 2 away. See what happens here. Payoff. Swing and a miss. Drop third strike. Throw down to first is in time, and that ends the top of the 8th. Harbor Hawks go down in order. 1, 2, 3. No runs, no hits, no errors, none left stranded, and we head to the bottom of the 8th. Still scoreless on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Bottom half of the 8th coming up, still scoreless. Braves and the Harbor Hawks battling through this one, and it's been a pretty even matchup so far, looking for that all-important hit to bring home that first run of the game. Now, one thing we did forget to mention is that it is scoreless heading into the bottom of the 8th. If we are scoreless after 9, prior to this season, we did go to extras, but this season we will not be going to extras, as this one line to second. And a very quick first out, as that was Zach Agnos lining out to the second baseman Ricciardi. And like I said, if we are scoreless still after 9, we won't be playing any further. It'll just be a tie. One thing that's just being introduced in this season. Trey Robertson back on the mound for the Harbor Hawks as Dalton Rushing comes back up to the plate. And Rushing 1 for 2, a ground out, a single, and then he reached on a walk in the 4th. He reached 3rd after that walk in that 4th inning, and then reached 2nd in the 6th, so he's been in scoring position twice. One of the many players that hasn't been able to come home. 2-0 now the count. Robertson with the pitch. A long drive, and that is gone. My goodness. And Dalton Rushing sends one over the right field wall, and the Braves take a late 1-0 lead here in the bottom of the 8th.
Well, a hitter's count 2-0. He was looking fastball, and he got a fastball on the inside part of the plate, and he turned on it and crushed it.
Yeah, those inside fastballs, bread and butter for a lot of these batters. And at this point in the game, just the exact pitch that you didn't want if you were the Harbor Hawks.
It's been a well-played game on both ends overall, and just, one pitch sometimes makes a difference, and it was just one mistake, caught a little bit too much of that inside part of the plate, and he was clearly looking that spot, and he got it.
After that bomb from Dalton Rushing, Braves now with a 1-0 lead, and Colby Thomas up at the plate. Thomas 1 for 3 as he watches this one go up high. 2-0 to him now. His past at bat's a strikeout, a single, and a fielder's choice in that order. As Robertson comes home with a 2-0. Misses down low for 3 balls and no strikes.
A little bit of trouble locating the fastball this inning. We missed a couple times high. The home run pitch missed inside. We'll see if they decide to get some action in the bullpen after this at-bat.
Called strike brings the count to 3 balls and 1 strike. Thomas ended his 2021 campaign with a 247 average. As he reaches base on that 3-1 ball in the dirt.
Now batting number 29.
That'll bring runner on first now for Braylon Wimmer. Wimmer 0 for 2, reached on an error in the 2nd. Hit into a 6-4-3 double play and had another ground out.
I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some kind of hit and run in this at-bat. Struggling to get guys across the plate besides a home run. They need something here, maybe an insurance run. A little bit of room between first and second on that right side, too, to put a ball there.
Yeah, that middle infield in double play depth, looking for that ball to end this inning. The 1-0. High fastball, swing and a miss. Throw it on to first is not in time. Thomas just a little bit too far off for the comfort of post, and he throws that one down.
I think he caught both post on the backswing there. Seems to be all right, though, giving him a second.
One and 1 the count. Robertson delivers. Misses up high, 2-1.
See if he comes back with another fastball here on 2-1.
And this one a high drive towards the foul pole down the third base line, and that is gone. Over the foul pole, a 2-run shot for Braylon Wimmer. And Austin, I think I might be bad luck.
I don't think bad luck. You know, the game's just gone on. You know, a lot of fastballs this inning from Robertson. He's had trouble locating them. I think that's been the biggest thing, is the fastballs have caught too much of the plate. You know, when they're in the zone, and we've seen 2 of them turned on. You know, one by the left-handed hitter and rushing, and then that one there by Wimmer, the right-handed hitter, turning on that one down the right field line. I mean, just catching too much of the plate. It's early in the season. These guys got, you know, a long season ahead of them. You know, 40 total games. This is the first of those, and he'll figure it out very quickly.
Yeah, most definitely.
It was a good first, you know, few batters too. He pitched a couple innings before this, Robertson did, and he was very effective.
Yeah, and like you said, as the season goes on, they'll just get more and more comfortable in this new area, especially for Robertson from Missouri. This one hit down the third base line, and that will drop foul. That heads out of play. 0-2 the count, with 1 away now to Peter Burns.
It was very tough to see that home run ball, too. I was waiting for the umpire to make the call. It was just the clouds and the ball meshed together pretty well, so I imagine the outfield didn't have a little bit of a tough time the last couple innings here.
Yeah, and that's that was honestly, I'd imagine, a pretty tough home run call to make, as that went right over the foul pole, and so just a little bit further off to the left.
It's kind of
a very
judging
difficult
it
call.
based on the Braves bullpen, too. One of the guys warming up was putting his glove up to try to catch it, and he was in fair territory. Otherwise, I couldn't see where the ball was.
Count even out at 2-2 with 1 away. Robertson, the lefty, breaking ball, can't find the zone as that drops down low. 3-2 the count. Robertson, a 38th round draft pick in the 2018 MLB draft, selected by the Kansas City Royals.
This is a guy with an MLB future ahead, much like many of the players here in the futures in the Cape Cod Baseball League.
Yeah, one fact I saw, one of every 6 players in the Cape League end up heading to the major leagues, and so Trey Robertson could be one of those 6. And that full count pitch misses for ball 4, and Peter Burns
Now batting for
heads to
Bourne,
first.
Number 2, Christian Knapzik.
And that looks like that could do it for Robertson. And that will do it. We're going to have a pitching change here. The Braves up 3-0 here in the bottom half of the 8th inning. We'll be right back. We're going to take a little bit of a break here on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Back to action here, bottom of the 8th, and we have a new pitcher up for the Harbor Hawks. This is Derek Cherry from the University of Houston getting his first appearance of the season. With the runner on first, the Braves up 3-0. This bunt laid down by Christian Knapczyk, and he ends up fouling that one off.
Cherry's got a pretty lively fastball, watching him in warm-ups. Can really zip it in there, and no surprise that Knapczyk was late on the bunt attempt, bunting it down the third base line.
Cherry, a third-team preseason All-American in 2021. Through 19 appearances this season, he has a 2-3 record and a 2.85 ERA from that Houston season. So that one finds the strike zone. Brings the count now to 0-2.
All fastballs so far.
Still one away, as this has been the longest inning of the game. Been scoreless up until this point, and then the Indians, or the Braves actually, giving off 2 home runs of their own. A solo shot from Rushing, followed by a 2-run shot from Braylon Wimmer. Cherry, the right-hander. Straight front leg as he kicks and comes home. That 1-2's fouled off.
Another runner in scoring position here for the Braves. We talked about the first 7 innings, how those runners just didn't come home, but this inning it's been a different story, this half inning at least. Harbor Hawks have been held hitless the last 2 innings as well.
You know, this half inning for the Braves, even the runners that aren't in scoring position end up finding the plate with those 2 home runs. As this one fouled off, it lands on the netting, and that keeps the count at 1-2.
See all the teams too down here in the Cape League with the extended netting. This one halfway down the left field line and right field line for the most part.
Now the Harbor Hawks and the Braves, both in the West Division of the Cape Cod League, along with the Cotuit Kettleers, the Wareham Gatemen, and the Falmouth Commodores. Out in the East Division, the Brewster Whitecaps, the Chatham Anglers, the YD Red Sox, the Orleans Firebirds, and the Harwich Mariners. All 10 teams are playing tonight all around the Cape.
Hyannis will host the Cotuit Kettleers tomorrow night in Hyannis.
The big rivalry of the Cape Cod League. Cotuit and Hyannis both in the town of Barnstable.
And game 1 is tomorrow night of that series, that battle.
Ends up playing 4 games, I believe it is. The payoff from Cherry. That's a high drive towards right field, and that could be trouble for Rose. He's coming forward, and almost a collision there. Ricciardi coming in all the way into right field, covering so much ground and making that play, as that was about mid-right field towards the foul line.
How did Ricciardi get to that ball?
No idea. That was a routine-looking play for Rose, and then Ricciardi just came out of nowhere and snagged that one out of the air.
I'd love to see like the stat cast on how far he ran on that play, because that was incredible. He started over towards second base. Obviously that's his position, but more towards the second base side, and then he covered a ton of ground halfway down that line.
And he's showing off his speed there, as that's another long drive. That one's going to go foul, as that heads deep into the forest. That's going to bring the count to 0-1. And Joe Lampy, that is, actually, back at the plate. Lampy is currently at 1 for 3. Had a strikeout and a ground out in the first and fifth innings, and he reached base in the third and seventh. As that one hits him, and he heads off the first, a hard 90 there.
It's going to leave a little bit of a mark tomorrow morning.
Now batting for Bourne, number 3, Kyler Fedko.
That's going to bring Kyler Fedko back to the plate. Fedko 2 for 4. Pair of singles and then a ground out and a fly out to his name. Cherry brings home that first pitch, and that misses on the inside for ball 1. And as the sun came down here in Bourne, so did the temperature. Starting to get a little bit chilly here.
The breeze of the Cape at night. I did not bring a jacket, but that's all right.
Yeah. It shouldn't get too cold. It's been in the mid-60s for the most part at night here.
It's not too bad. It's tolerable.
Not at all, no. Especially compared to when I go back home, I'll be facing 90 degrees 24/7.
This is a welcome change then. I mean, I'm sure you brought lots of sweatshirts, though.
Oh, yes, yes. Sweatshirts, jeans.
Do you ever get to wear that in Texas?
Barely.
Yeah.
A couple weeks in January and February, especially if you remember back in February, we had that big snowstorm.
I do remember that.
Yeah, a straight week of layers upon layers.
That must have been
terrible.
like a nightmare.
Oh, yeah, we had power going out the whole time. I was still in my dorm at that point, and then my dorm ended up getting down to about 45 degrees.
Oh, boy. And 45 degrees here is like
number 21,
beginning of
Reggie
March,
Crawford.
you know, sort of moving towards springtime.
Yeah, yeah. Especially here where you'll get snow regularly in most of the state.
Not a fun winter here.
Fedko reaches first on a 4-pitch walk. And that brings runners to first and second now for Reggie Crawford. And Crawford, the only remaining batter for the Braves that has not seen the plate in this inning.
Yep. Chance to do some real damage here. Bases loaded now for Crawford.
It's Burns over at third, Lampy over at second, and Fedko at first. The 1-0 right down the heart of the plate for strike one. Evens the count. 1 ball, 1 strike, and 2 outs. Cherry with the 1-1. Misses down low. That fastball. Low and outside brings the count to 2-1.
Dangerous count here, especially against Reggie Crawford. Got a lot of power. 2-1. You're probably coming back fastball. Just can't let it catch too much of the zone. We've seen that mistake been made twice in this inning. Got to keep it below the knees here.
The 2-1. Straight back up. That should be playable for post, and he makes the grab for out number 3. That finally ends the 8th inning. The Braves add 3 runs off of 2 home runs from Dalton Rushing and Braylon Wimmer. The last chance for the Harbor Hawks coming up top of the 9th. Next on the Harbor Hawk Baseball Network. back up, top of the 9th inning, the last chance for the Harbor Hawks coming up, as we'll have Mann, Hardigan, and Harris up next for the Harbor Hawks. And now on the mound for the Braves, we have a new pitcher. That's Eric Adler from Wake Forest. Coming up to pitch.
Gonna need to string some hits together here if you're Hyannis. You know, chasing 3 runs last at bats, but it doesn't happen with just one. So you're gonna have to get a couple base runners on.
Exactly. And I don't know if you've seen this, but unless you know of a Melbourne in the U.S., Eric Adler seems to be from Melbourne, Australia.
I'll have to check that, see where he's. It's very possible. I haven't heard of a Melbourne in the U.S. either.
I haven't either. Adler standing at 6'3", 195 pounds. The righty.
Melbourne, Florida.
Florida.
I have not heard of that, but it seems to be Melbourne, Florida.
Do you think that might be where they're holding the Australian Open and they're just lying to us?
They could be. You never know. I wouldn't put it past them.
And we're just right ready to get underway here. A couple more pitches coming up. And Burns gives the coming down signal. We're just right ready to get underway. Luke Mann came in the 6th inning to bat in place of Mason Greer. He's had 1 appearance, and in that appearance, he ended up hitting a ground out to third base. Another fantastic play from Agnos over at third base.
Now batting for Hyannis, number 17, Luke Mann.
Now, Mann once again digging into that left-handed box, fixing up his gloves a little bit before stepping in, and we're ready to go.
Mann's got a good swing, too. He saw him only up once, as you mentioned, Lincoln, but if he gets something in his wheelhouse, he can definitely turn on it.
That first pitch is a called strike. And with 0-1 the count, pitch comes in. That one misses just a bit down low. Brings the count now to 1-1. Mann looking to get things started here for the Harbor Hawks. Down 3 runs, needing some hits desperately. They want to have a chance at winning this game. The Braves only 3 outs away from completing that first win of the season. And Austin, it was an even game up until that 8th inning. Very evenly matched pitching duel as that goes off the foot. And that will not be a play, as that ends up going off the foot of Adler, and he can't make the grab. As that sounded like it went right off his cleat, so I don't think he'll be injured too badly, but that did go off of his cleat.
Seems all right. Burns checks on him at the mound. Seems like he's ready to go, but that's the start that you need for the Hyannis. You got to get on early here in this inning. No outs. Now's a chance to string together those hits to ideally tie this game up.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, that bottom of the 8th inning actually for the Braves actually started with a couple of infield hits.
It did. There was 2. Didn't get out of the infield on Robertson, and then he had the home runs come up later in that inning, and it drew it out to end up being 9 batters long.
First pitch now in to Mitchell Hardigan is a strike. 0-1 the count. The pitch from Adler is down low. Brings the count even at 1-1 again.
Adler looking to get his first save of the Cape Cod Baseball League here, as he had those 6 saves at Wake Forest.
1-1. And that's a good drive towards the left center gap, heading near the wall, and that is off the wall, and that's going to be Thomas slamming himself into the wall, and that's going to bring runners to second and third on a no-out double for Mitchell Hardigan.
Great piece of hitting by Hardigan. Got a fastball that he could do something with and didn't try to pull it, which is important. He just drove it to the gap, found some piece of real estate out there. There was no outfielders, which we've seen a lot of the balls today hit hard but right at people. So nice piece of hitting by Hardigan, and that's where you need to be. No outs, guys on second and third. They're in good shape now.
And Thomas tried to get that ball. He ran full speed into the fence after that ball hit off the fence. There was really no stopping it. It's his momentum just falling towards the fence and just slamming into it. So first pitch now to Zane Harris. Here's a called strike. Harris, go ahead.
At the least, it's good to see Hyannis putting hits together in the 9th inning. You see teams, the bottom of the 8th was very deflating. 2 home runs, in a game that was tied. It's good to see them not quit, come back at the least here with at least 2 hits. More to come, hopefully, but sometimes you see teams roll over when they're down, but not yet. First game of the year, it's a positive sign.
Yeah, and no matter how the outcome of this game ends up, I think there's a lot of good things to take away from this game, especially after that 2019 season. Just starting things off, even with the loss. Like even if we do end up losing, I still think that there's a lot of good things to take away, and we started the season off basically on the right foot.
I would say so. You can find more positives than negatives in this game, I'd say. Very quiet now here at Doran Park.
0-2 now the count. And you're right, with so many people here, you'd expect it to be a little bit louder. They had an announcement just before this inning started that they were expecting a lot of people for the season opener, but this was beyond their expectations, and they actually ran out of food in the concession stand.
Busy night. Before every pitch, you can see all the scouts hold their radar guns up over there behind home plate. You see about 10 or 12 of them.
It's got to be nerve-wracking.
If you're the pitcher.
Swung on and fouled off.
Could be a little distracting. You looking at your catcher and behind you, you have 10 or 15 hands just pointing a radar gun at you.
A little bit. Didn't see a whole lot of who's here, but I did see someone from the Miami Marlins in the crowd at one point.
You see at least 10 or 12 different guys, so you got to assume that at least a few different teams are here.
The 1-2. There's another foul as that's a breaking ball, and a battle there from Harris. Adler with another breaking ball, and as we mentioned earlier, just a good job of fighting off the trash pitches and waiting for that good one to get a good hit on.
That's what you have to do. You spit on the stuff that's in the dirt, you just fight it off, foul it off, and then find your pitch, and that's what the Braves did so well in the bottom of the 8th inning. They picked their right pitch and got in hitters counts. 2-0, we saw the home run. We saw a 2-1 home run. I mean, that's how you have to do it, especially at this point in the game.
1-2 the count. Pitch from Adler. Called strike 3. Knee-high fastball on the inside. And Harris goes down looking.
Fans for sales and rentals of Caterpillar machinery generators.
And with a 1 away, runs on second and third.
Your area
That's going to bring Caleb Pendleton. That's actually going to be
a sponsor of today's game.
Dylan Post, actually. I do apologize there. Pendleton started the game behind the plate. Post came in and subbed in.
Number 34, Dylan Post.
Just a few innings ago. Post actually 1 for 1, had a single back in the 7th. He fouls that one off. Brings the count to 0-1. A little bit late on that pitch, but getting a piece of it, the good first step.
They tried to jam him on the hands, but was able to, like you said, just get a little bit of a piece at it.
And I have to say, Post, one of the people that I think you'd want up at the plate, being 1 for 1 on the night so far. He has momentum on his side at the plate, and so a good spot to be. 0-1. And that hits him. Looked like it hit him on the back foot, as that loads the bases up for Dominic Johnson.
Up now for Hyannis, number 6, Dominic Johnson.
And I thought Johnson's had some of the best swings on the day. We talked about he had 2 punch-outs, drawn a walk, but he's taken some really good cuts at the plate. And I think he's a guy that, if he can connect on one, could be a tie game very quickly.
It could. And I will say, the one I've seen one swing that I wouldn't be happy with if I was Johnson this whole game, and that was his second strikeout back in the 5th, where he had a little bit of a late start, and that ball was practically already in the catcher's mitt before he swung the bat. But other than that, it's been very exceptional at bats.
Some days they just they don't fall your way. It's a little bit behind a couple fastballs, but see if you can change that right here.
Yeah, definitely not. There's a reason that baseball's a sport where you can fail 3 out of 10 times and still be in the Hall of Fame.
That's the craziest thing when you put it into perspective. I mean, the best guys are are guys who, like you said, failed who only succeed those 3 times,
Yeah,
right?
thank you.
They only succeed 3 times and end up being Hall of Famers. And some of them even succeed less than that, 2 3/4 times, and they end up being Hall of Famers.
And that first pitch to Johnson on the outside part of the plate, strike 1. Johnson 0 for 2. 2 strikeouts to his name in the 3rd and the 5th, and then he reached on a walk in the 6th. 7th, that is. The 0-1 from Adler. That's a called strike as well at the knees. Brings the count to 0-2. And if you're Hyannis, if you get this, if you end up going down with this second out, not the way that you want this inning to go after starting off so well, runners on second and third with nobody out.
Absolutely. We'll have to see if he can put it in play.
The 0-2, swing and a miss. Strike 3. Bases loaded, 2 away, and Caden Rose is stepping up to the plate. Rose 0 for 1. He's had 3 appearances. He got hit by a pitch, reached on an error, and then ended up with a strikeout in the 7th. And I just got word as this one, high fastball, swing and a miss. 2 strikes away from the Braves' first win of the season.
I don't mind that swing jumping and trying to jump on a fastball there. Saw Dominic Johnson take a couple, but at this point in the game, you got to be aggressive.
The 0-1. Got a tip of it, but can't connect enough. 0-2 the count. The final strike coming up. Adler from the stretch, he comes set. And time is called. And this Bourne crowd making some noise here. 0-2, 2 away. Adler, the righty, comes home, misses down low, 1-2.
Tough take there with 2 strikes, but it was outside.
It was. We've seen that pitch called a couple of times tonight.
Absolutely. A little too close for comfort. See if he goes back there.
Here's the 1-2. That one fouled off as that heads out of play behind the scoreboard. Keeps count at 1-2, 2 away.
I think he did try to go back there, try to go low in the zone.
I'm wondering if he'll end up going back low and outside like he did. He's done it a couple of times just in this at-bat alone. Bases are loaded. 1-2, 2 away. Adler has his sign from Burns. He comes home. Called strike 3. He gets him looking. And that will end the inning. The Harbor Hawks leave 3 stranded, and the Braves take a 3-0 win to open up the 2021 Cape Cod season. So the Braves now move to 1-0 on the season to start off, as the Harbor Hawks move to 0-1. Be sure to keep watching our YouTube page, the Hyannis Harbor Hawks YouTube page, for our post-game show coming up later tonight. But for now, for my partner Austin DeCouta, I'm Lincoln Revill, saying so long from Bourne, Massachusetts. Good night, Harbor Hawk fans, and God bless.